Pretty good. There's a possibility that you might be hearing the show that I watch on TV. So if that's the case, I'm sorry, but I don't think that I can fix it. Like, it's theoretically possible, but I don't want to, if it is the case. Because then it's too quiet for me. It's extremely weird reading subtitles while you're speedrunning. It's like, kind of like retarded. But at the same time I don't pay attention 100% anyway. Don't fuck me out, there's a huge chance. It's a really good time. This is an excellent time. Pretty good execution. just have to say that I didn't get the war kick in 1-6 in an optimal time. If I would have gotten that in an optimal time, this one would be pretty sick. Like, it was literally perfect to 1-6, but then it kind of got fucked there. So if I do everything optimally, get good RNG, there's a chance of me being like 12 seconds ahead of my PB, something like that. But that's also not only because my World 1 was not the best in my previous one, it's also due to the fact that I play on a different hardware, and this happens to be faster. So I compare against my PB that I have done on PAL, and this is NTSC. That was really close. Could have been better. That was good. Could have been better. I have a disconnect. Pretty good time. Like, my execution has been pretty much flawless. Besides the war kick in 1-6. That's probably due to... that's blame. Like, obviously it's a fault of mine. The RNG, like, it is possible to get him quite consistent, but it's not entirely in my hands. So... I wouldn't even blame it entirely on me. Because that would be unfair. Like, a lot of people always say that you have to blame yourself for things to improve, but I disagree to a certain extent. You have to really make sure of what one second. If that what you're blaming for yourself for is justified, because if you if you consider something to be a mistake of yours and it is not the thing, like it has. Like, it's not the case, you fix something that isn't supposed to be fixed, you know. And that can lead to other problems, that can lead to actual problems, you know. For example, if I, in 1-6 I didn't get the war kick and I changed up my strat. But my strat was totally fine in 1-6, but I just happened to execute it once, so I changed something that needed to be changed, and now I have a problem because my previous stat was all good. Hope that made sense. It's basically you create yourself a problem out of nothing, and that's what's bad. Creating yourself a problem out of nothing is not something that you're supposed to do. Oh, so because like I really hate when this happens. Like my internet went out. Happens due to some fuckers working on. Like honestly, it's not their fault, but basically they're like kind of replacing things on the street and stuff, like under the street, and that's fucking the internet. So it's not their fault. I don't blame them or anything. It's just like it's stupid. Like, oh, it's not stupid, like, it's necessary, but it's annoying. So, it's whatever. It's necessary, but it's annoying. So, it's whatever. It's necessary, but it's annoying. So, it's necessary. That strat is quite dangerous. Makes the stage not so worry free actually. This used to be a 100% worry-free stage, but now it's kind of like if you do something stupid, it can turn out quite bad. Worry-free stage, but now it's kind of like if you do something stupid, it can turn out quite bad. Worry-free stage, but now it's kind of like if you do something stupid, it can turn out quite bad. So maybe I can get the slight time save here. So there's a trick that you can do to not tumble basically, and that saves a little bit of time. It's quite difficult. Didn't get it. So the trick basically is to... It's not really a trick. Like it's just like you get on the edge of the trampoline, and because you're on the edge of the trampoline, you get less height from the jump because you are far more down. So because you are not so high with the jump, you tumble, and the height is enough to reach with the barrel to Donkey Kong. It's kind of risky if you fail it, so I don't completely go for it. So I just it's not a tight window. It's like if you just try for it slightly, you can get it. But if you try too hard, you can significantly fail it, and I don't want that. So I just do it safe, go for it, but I don't do it extreme because at the same time, it doesn't really save that much time. It saves some time, definitely, especially if you get bad RNG. I guess the time save is equal to good RNG, but it feels just better getting that bad RNG. It's like you made up some time that you previously lost. So, I have to say that this run is, in terms of execution, it's quite good. Like, there are only a couple of things that I really made a mistake with. But there are just like these time losses due to me not getting these wall kicks optimal. Which is partially also due to me not executing wrongly. But it's not, I can't blame myself 100% for that. So I'm quite happy with this run so far, but it's just because it's due to those wall kicks I've lost significant time. That's why this run looks a lot worse than it actually is. I mean, you still see myself in green, but if I would be running on par right now, this wouldn't be green anymore, because NTSC is faster. But I mean, I don't really mind it so much. I didn't plan to stream anyway today. For that, I haven't really practiced. I play pretty good. It's just that I'm completely chilled out because I've done so much today that I'm not used to that. I get better and better every day, like in terms of health and everything, and motivation and energy. Like, I finally got a job today. That's this was just a good example right now. 1 second. Like here, I made this early. Like, I went extremely fast in the stage. Usually that is not really beneficial, but due to him switching the switch early, there is a chance that he might switch it back again very early. So if that happens, I cannot close the door there with the bridge, so that fucks me. So I saw that he did it early, so I just went fast and did more riskier sets to minimize his chance of getting fucked by it. So he actually fucked me there, but due to me being fast, he didn't. So that's why I go for that. But like, what I was originally going to say is that I did a lot of things today. I finally have a job starting Monday. And yeah, today was really busy. Like, I had to do so many things. I had to renew my kind of like, I don't know how you say it, my ID, I think you said it in English or American, you know what I'm saying? In America. Because that was already expired a year ago. But I'm good at life, you know. They didn't really care. So I've renewed it now. Or like it's in the process of it renewing. I had to like kind of drive a lot for that. Oh, that was stupid. I mean, it doesn't really matter on this stage, but still, it was disgusting. Good RNG, that saves some time. Yeah, was just a lot of driving around, and I didn't really drive slowly, so it was very exhausting as well. Like, I drove with my bicycle. Basically, I had to fill in like a lot of formulas, I think they're called, and then like I constantly just had to drive around. Oh damn! Please no good RNG. Okay, that was good. Like, you're probably wondering why I said please no good RNG. Because I already fucked up the stage, and if I would have gotten good RNG in there, it would have turned out to be bad, because I couldn't have made it in time till he throws a barrel. So yes, I still lost some time, but if I would have gotten good RNG in that case, I would have lost more. Because I couldn't have made it till there, and that would result in like me not getting the barrel, and that's worse than just waiting for like a second for the barrel. So normally I would, if I execute a ride, of course I would hope for good RNG, but in this particular case, not. Also, it could have happened even if I would have executed right. So I mean, it's quite rare to get good RNG on these boss stages. They're pretty fucky. So this world is pretty hard, but I'm pretty calmed down. So, I mean, it's whatever. This run is not particularly good anyway, it's just... well, it's fine. It's a good improvement if I PB so. So this RNG is good. I almost died there, but I could back out a little bit. So if he could technically go up that vine, he occasionally does it, that's considered bad RNG. Because you just die. But he didn't, so that was pretty good. So this stage is quite hard. Okay, back up. So I failed the strat that saves time, but I didn't die, so that's good. So I actually executed it quite well, but I didn't get the explosive handspring. So that made it so that it wasn't possible anymore. That is just a slight time loss. So sometimes it lags here, it's kind of annoying when that happens. Okay, he fucks me. Okay, could have went for the backup, but I didn't. So that was kind of bad, but that was bad RNG. Like, if I would describe this run, in terms of execution, it's insanely good. Like, not insanely, don't get me wrong. There are a couple of things that I personally don't like, 211 for example. 4-2 could have been better. Honestly, I would have loved to get that strat, but honestly, this run is pretty decent in terms of execution. Like I don't like. I see like a lot of wall kicks are also just good execution, but there's a difference between getting a hard strat that is not around wall kicks and just like getting a wall kick. It's like feels much more RNG than it being executed. But I'm aware that a lot of it is also execution, and that I should improve that. But it's not something that you can really tackle that much. It's like sometimes you get it, sometimes you won't. So here, this stage you want to do in a particular way, so that the RNG of those crocodiles is in a certain way, or like they're in a certain position when you cross this. That's very important. So I actually choose to do a slower strat there on the stage a little bit. But that slower strat lines up better with those crocodiles, and this leads to the stage being faster, so I intentionally slow down a little bit in the beginning, or like I do it a little bit slower strat, and then the result of that is actually fast. So good RNG I would really appreciate, because I just previously got bad RNG on. That was kind of close. Good RNG? Maybe? Nah. So it can be bad RNG or average RNG. I hope it's average RNG of course, because there are only two outcomes. So this is average RNG. Or like that RNG that you usually get on this stage, but it could have also been bad RNG. Which would have been really sucky, considering that I just already got fucked in 4-4. There's an insect in my room. I just heard it. It's basically at my lamp right now. I'm flying against it. Oh, it's inside of the lamp, I just see it, but it's just a small insect. Really hate these flying spider thingies. I don't know how they're called in English. Like in German they're called Schneiders, but they are definitely not called that way in English. It's kind of like a moth, but like just like looks like a spider, and just like it's the most disgusting thing ever. But it's thankfully not that, because they fly around and fly in my faces and stuff like that. I hate when that happens. I died. I thought too much about it. It's my fault. I keep going. That was definitely my fault. I thought way too much about it. That was the mistake. The only reason why I keep going is that I can theoretically still PB, and I've came to the realization that yes, I have an ultimate goal in this game, but this ultimate goal will always change to something that's better, and you usually don't just have a goal and achieve that goal. You usually Oh yeah, of course, if you have a goal, of course you achieve it, you know, if you like really want to. But it's very demotivating not having like some sort of success now and then. So to sustain the motivation, to sustain like the will to play the game and stuff like that, I feel like getting a free PB is very it's like a reward, you know. For example, if you like did something good or something, like for example you like went to the gym, but afterwards you just drink a cacao, like a little bit of an unhealthy drink or something like that. That is, for example, a reward which helps you to just keep going and be motivated. And the same, I see it as the same that I see it when it comes to like kind of getting a PB, even if it's not your ultimate goal, it still feels fucking great, and it still feels like you have you somehow achieved something. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, you have achieved something. Because sometimes the goals, like there is a huge disconnection between viewer and speedrunner. The speedrunner knows what's theoretically possible. So for a viewer, every PB is awesome because they get all this feeling like all hyped up, it's a PB. But the person who's behind all of this, behind the run, knows what is theoretically possible, and they know that it is not as good as it could be. So yeah, it's but still, this doesn't mean they shouldn't be happy about it. It's just like, you just have to get these free PBs, or like not these ultimate PBs. Like you just have to improve to more improve, you know what I'm saying? And also something that I've hate, or like that I a little bit hate, is that I'm always negative when it comes to speedrunning. For example, I'm very critic about myself. I will just like Like, I don't accept any time loss or anything like that. And to a certain degree that's good. But, you know, that you have to, in a lot of cases, like, I don't want to just make a general statement, because in some cases being extreme, this might not be bad, even though I can't just think of an example, but in a lot of cases you have to find the perfect balance. So, and I feel like if you are too negative and if you're too harsh, that is bad, you know? Being reasonably harsh and being very, like, having high standards is not bad, but being too extreme on it, that's what's bad. So that's how I think. So I've kind of tried to solve that a little bit, or like work on that off stream. Good RNG here, please. So this is a good World 5 so far. A little bit unfortunate. Like, this run is just a train wreck, you know. It's so unfortunate. Of course, like, I had a huge death and stuff like that. So it's not. But overall, I would still rate this run to be executed very well. Just the stupid time loss that I have experienced. Like, it's kind of unfortunate, but maybe we can get a gold World 5 here, like, and we are still able to easily PB this. Not easily, of course, but it is reasonably possible if I'm not a fucking degenerate, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, executing everything optimally is extremely difficult anywhere still, but like, I have so much time saved and I'm capable of executing everything that I want to, or in this game, then it is reasonable, like, possibility. So I hope I get good RNG, like big dick RNG I want to have. So big dick RNG would be, like, looks like good RNG definitely. But if it's big dick RNG, I'm not certain yet. It's not big dick RNG, but this RNG is still fucking awesome. Big dick RNG would have been if he wouldn't have switched the switch the second time, so I would have gotten like the combator belt in my favor there. So that would have saved, I would assume, like, I think it saved 6 seconds actually. 6 seconds. It's just like a really huge time save that you will never, like, rarely get, right? Because it's really extremely rare to get that kind of RNG. Like, look at this execution and how fucking good it is. Like, it's one of those executions where people would blame you for cheating, and that's what I want to achieve. Like, I really wanna look at this run later and look on how many stages I perfectly executed the way that I want to. Because the majority I absolutely have. So this is definitely on gold pace for World 5, which is pretty good. I would have to, like, the next 4 stages are kind of difficult, to be honest. Only really one of it. 5.11 used to be hard, but I've changed one strat, which lost me more of time than it saved me, and I didn't get a consistent at all that strat that I planned on doing there, so I kind of didn't do it anymore, which was a good decision. Never good. Never being good at this stage, man. Like, this stage is not even that hard, man. I don't even know why I have such trouble with it. It's honestly frustrating me. Like, it's so degenerate. That was the wrong word. It's just so stupid. Like, it's not even a hard stage for me. Like, I could have... Like I always get the hard part of that strat, but fail the easy one. Like the hard one is lining up to the edge perfectly so that you don't fall down. The key jump is not that difficult. Honestly. Like I'm ahead, but like I'm not really ahead yet, but I should be ahead after this world. Like I honestly want this to be just because everybody would be able to see what I'm capable of. But it's just unfortunate time loss. Like I would, like the way that I would compete it is like people are more familiar with certain other speedruns than it is like than there are with this. So you probably know SMW, and there is 96 exits. And in 96 exits, there's like you use some sort of glitches to kind of complete stages like rings or something they're called. And it's like imagining getting a perfect run or like a really decent run with execution, but absolutely terrible rings. Or if you, for example, have the hardest, like the best kind of like really good executed Zelda Link to the Past run, but you get like 20 blue balls or something like that. You have to imagine this being like this. Of course, this run is not flawless in execution or anything, right? But like there was at some point a very consistent player with just very few mistakes, and it still kind of is that way. It just wasn't better at some point. So I'm concentrating for this world because it has given me some problems lately. Especially this stage. This stage has been fucking me in the ass. Like, really, you have to imagine like just my anus being destroyed, like ripped apart, you know? Literally. That was a really quick key grab. So I'm definitely ahead. There's somebody walking outside, I think. Kind of scares me. Like because it sounds so close. So this stage will be interesting. Okay, wait. Still fine. Optimally I would have made that cycle. I was on a pretty good pace there, but I kind of fucked up the last walking down. There might be a chance that you might be hearing me twice, but I fix it if it is the case in like in a minute. Just refresh the dashboard because I felt like we had earlier had a DC, and since then there hasn't been anything updating, and before that there has been things updating. So I was like, maybe that thing has crashed and it's bugged, but it doesn't seem the case. It just seems that I'm forever alone, man. So I will, if I'm not a retard, okay, I'm a retard. Nah, it's not that big of a deal, but if I'm not a significant retard, then I will be ahead by like 10 seconds after this round. I'm an absolute fucking degenerate. I was an absolute fucking degenerate. I keep going though anyway. But that was something that should, like, what the fuck is wrong with me, man? Like, the thing is, I had the feeling that that happened, and I shouldn't have known that I shouldn't have been doing it. Since the stage, like, since I haven't executed, like, what's really important in this stage is executing it in the same way each time. So that you can, like, because of these cannonballs, you have to know where they are. And because I have made a very weird mistake at the start, I shouldn't have went for it, even if I would have got the double tumble there, because I was just unaware where the cannonball is. But that was just a really bad decision. Like, that was not, like, that was just a horrible decision that I made. So I won't be ahead anymore, like, I will lose a significant amount of time. But I will keep going anyway, just to show how I can destroy this category. If I, like, for once, am not a fucking degenerate like I always am, a little bit. Like you have to imagine that the degeneracy flows within me. Like, it's like the fuel within me, you know? It's like, constantly, like, you know how people, like, I don't know, like, it's just like instead of water, it's just this degeneracy flowing through my body everywhere, and sustain the degeneracy that it is my existence. Like, and I just have to accept it, you know, because if you accept that you're a degenerate, you will always be happy. I'm just kidding. I always try to improve. If you haven't understood that yet about me. So this world, I have pretty significant time savers, but it's very unlikely that I will be able. Like of course it's not unlikely, but it's like, you know, it requires crazy things for happening. Like, it's reasonable for me to get everything in this world that saves me time, but it just can also not be the case. That's what I'm saying. So here we get the first try wall kick. See? So that made up a lot of time. I would love to go. Oh, for fuck's sake. See? This is degeneracy. This is the fuel that I'm working with. This happens occasionally. But that is just like, you just have to accept it, you know. Oh, like I don't know what like my brain just got confused. Like I didn't, like the tiles just confused the fuck out of me. Okay, I knew that. Okay, that was not optimal. So here we need to get good RNG while also executing right, which will be a piece of shit. Oh, that feels good, man. See, if you realize that you have the degeneracy in your blood, you can overcome the degeneracy. This is a life lesson. So, this run, like, I'm actually kind of ashamed. Like, to be fair, this is on a different hardware, it's not comparable with my PAL record. Like, on my PAL record I would be a little bit more behind, that I can guarantee it for sure. But it's still, like, just in terms of execution, how much time I can theoretically save. But I shouldn't look at it as if, like I shouldn't look at it as a bad thing. I should actually look at it as a good thing, because a lot of people in the speedrunning community, or just in general, a lot of people in fucking hate myself. A lot of people in speedrunning, they are very close to not having anything to improve or anything, not because it's actually the case, it's just they don't try harder. They just don't go for harder stats, or they don't try to find them. So the goal is to always find these new strats and always improve strats. Like, people underestimate finding new strats. Like, of course there are some games like which have like pretty well developed strats, but I see very rarely people actually like trying to improve strats, and that's fine. Really, like, I mean, it can be the case, like it could be off stream, you know. But like, there are also strats that are known, just some nobody is going for them in other speedruns. It's just like, why don't you at least, why are you trying to speedrun the game? Try to get them, like if you just practice for a little bit off stream, why don't you try to like get it there, like practice it, like there are a lot of strats that I'm currently working on, that I have plans on implementing in the future in the run, that are not yet that consistent for me doing it, but over time I just work on that. And I don't understand, like I see that a lot in speedrunning, that they just don't fucking do that. Or at least, maybe they do that and I just don't see it, maybe I'm ignorant. But I just feel like a lot of speedrunners just like, they accept the strat that they have, but they don't try to go further beyond. Like, honestly, the theme of this run, honestly, is getting fucked by RNG and doing very stupid mistakes that could have been prevented perfectly, you know? Like, that's really the theme of this run. Like, executing everything really good and to like perfectly, but getting fucked by random bullshit RNG wall kicks and doing some very extreme stupid mistakes that should have not happened, which are more like accidents than actually mistakes. Like, obviously there are mistakes, I need to prevent them, but like, they feel more like accidents, you know, it's just happened, you know, that was just like for example, if you get hit by a car, that was your mistake a lot of times too, but like, that was more like of an accident, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense. So I got bad energy, so I have to go for the backup, and I died because the backup is shitty. Yeah, but it's like, it's still theoretically possible for me to PB, which just makes me sad, man. It just like makes my balls like crumble. Oh, that's not how we're supposed to be doing that. That was just my brain being a fucking dipshit. So the reason why I didn't jump on the second YY, it's very simple. You might be thinking, hey, why did you waste time there? But I actually knew that if they are close together, those two, the second one will just don't have any physics, so you will just jump into him and you will just die. So I would have wanted to prevent that, so that knowing everything is the key to speedrunning. Allowing almost everything. Like, you never know everything. That was really close. It's good. So I'm far behind, like I would say. Like, I honestly am not really, like, I'm not really mad about this world. Like, this world was pretty good overall. It's just like random bullshit happened. Like, obviously the random bullshit are my mistake too. Like, it's not my mistake or anything. It's just like, it's just something that I know that I won't be doing next time. Like, all the hard things that I usually worry about, I got perfectly. And like random bullshit failed, to be fair too. And some worked also in favor. So I'm not sure if I can still PB. I might not even. Probably not. Like it's theoretically possible. I think. So I will finish this one and will upload it as well. Oh, that was a little bit too late, I think. Okay, that's fine. Oh, that was retarded. So 57 seconds I'm behind. I go for every strat. I might even go for the like depending on RNG, I might be going for a very hard strat at stage 1. But there's a lot of time save that I have. There's actually like 50 seconds of time save. Like there's like a lot of time save. There is in World for 8. So I feel like I could theoretically get to this point with me being like a minute and a half ahead, probably even more. And then I can still save like 50 seconds or something in World 8, and then like there's so much time save. Like I honestly feel like that one sub 102 is what I wanna aim for. But firstly I wanna get the sub 103 instead of the sub. Like of course I would accept it too, but it's just like this is how it looks. That's the strat that I was talking about. So this is also something that is very important. Knowing the pace of your run and knowing which strat is now worth it to risk and whatnot. Like if I would been if I would have been I hate myself. So just the time that I saved I just lost. So for example, the risk and reward in a really good run I wouldn't have gone for that strat because those 5 seconds at max, if everything turns out good, are not worth it compared to losing the whole one that is ahead of a minute and a half. Of course you could say that you wanna achieve something great, something that is like you want to go big dick, you know? And I stand at logic, and it does make sense, but you will never achieve the run that you want if you look at it that way. You can rather first get the awesome run that there's almost nothing to complain about, and then improve that before you risk something like over like 3 seconds or 5 seconds. If it's a strat that has a huge chance of failing. It's just stupid to not like of course it depends also on the strat. What I mean by that, if it's a strat that you always do and you just don't do it now because of the good pace, then that also kind of depends on the circumstances, on how good is the run. Is it absolutely astonishing? Is it awesome? And if it's strat, is the strat really risky? Is there a lot of risk to it? Are you unsure about the strat? Or if it's a strat that is not easy, but you have it down all the time. So if it's happened to be a strat that is not like that you usually get all the time, then no. Even on the good run, you shouldn't be doing that. Like you shouldn't just like stop doing that strat, because you will never be able to achieve the time that you want if you back out the strat that you already have consistent. But when it comes to strats that are really extremely hard, you're a little bit unsure about them still, and you just don't want to risk it, then don't. It's dependent on such a situation, you have to make the decision for yourself. It's just like learning basically what to do and what not to do. And something that's also very important is that you never are perfect at that, and your speedrun is never perfect. Even if you have a time that currently looks like it can never be beaten, like it can be beaten. Like if I just use the example from Cosmo back in the day with like the meme basically. the 1810, you know, then that, you know what I'm saying, a run can always be beat. I've no, by the way, I don't know, like, no one will watch this anyway, but I just wanna say it still. Like, it's not like that I call Cosmo because I don't wanna call him Narciss or anything. It's just because it was something that happened where he was Cosmo. So I just refer to him as that. So if I would interact with him, I wouldn't call him Cosmo. Or her. So I just wanted to say that. As long as a person doesn't want to be referred to as something that's doesn't exist, and it's not ridiculous, like as long as I don't have to learn a new word for it, I refer to him as a her, or as whatever fucking name that person wants to be called. I would just never really give into like people who gender themselves as something that doesn't exist, and also not, like, it's actually kind of funny to me, you know. It's like reminds me, like, this is a little bit of a rant. This reminds me of like the god gamer mentality, you know. Like, there are a lot of people in the speedrunning community who call themselves god gamers, and I don't have anything against those people personally, but I personally, like, this is what is overused, but it fits this situation perfectly. It's kind of cringy, because it's just something that you gender yourself, you know. For example, if I like, how do you qualify for a god gamer? For example, I play a lot of video games. I have played it ever since as a kid. So at what point am I considered a god gamer? It's just the most degenerate thing I've ever heard. It's just people who like the term, and they just like to call it that way. The same how these fake trans people like to call them, I don't know, attack helicopter. I mean, that's also overused, but you know what I'm getting at. It's just that there's just, it's just like a label that you give yourself without any evidence for that label. It's also the same. Like what I wanna say is, you know, the way that I look at these people who pretend to be trans but aren't really, the way that I look at them is like, you have to imagine. For example, I have OCD, very severe OCD, and when for me, like, everybody has intrusive thoughts. Everybody has these intrusive thoughts, but for other people, it's just like something like they can just block it basically. They just, oh, it's a bad thought, it's a weird thought, why do I think that, and then they just move on with my life. I personally, when I have such a thought, I think about it and think, oh, am I a bad person? Does that mean I really am that? For example, I used to have intrusive thoughts. What if I'm a serial killer? Of course, I'm not that person. You know, I couldn't even intentionally cut somebody with a knife or something like that. Like, but that thought still plagued me. So because like I constantly had like really weird intrusive thoughts. So the same, like those people somehow feel the need to label certain feelings that they have as with a label, you know. And you have to look at this. For example, for example, like, of course you will not always feel masculine, you will not always feel feminine. You have your feminine side and you have your masculine side, obviously. But that is just the way it is. That's just the way you feel doesn't define what you are, you know. So when I look at these people, like, the way that I probably go, they have a certain feeling, they Google it, and then they are basically told, okay, you have gender XYZ, XYZ. So and then they start to believe that they are that because it perfectly fits their criteria of what they think they have. And then they start to learn to behave that way, and at some point they really start to think that they are that because it perfectly fits the criteria that they experience. For example, if you have depression and you read like depression symptoms and that perfectly fits the criteria, like every criteria for that, you feel like, oh, I have that, you know. It's like if you think you have cancer and you do symptoms of cancer, then you think that you have cancer, you know. And the same thing with that, I think it's with that. So it's honestly like, oh damn, it's honestly just a very retarded situation to be in, because like they give a random site on the internet without questioning them. It's too much thought. Like they think that it's valid, and those people are also basically stupid. Is what I'm saying. They didn't question it really, and that's what's bad. So obviously there's also like always a little bit of doubt in myself, because there might be a chance that it's an actual thing and I'm just ignorant. But I don't think it actually is. If it's proven otherwise, and I mean actually proven, then obviously if it's actually proven, then I might change my mind on it. The reason why I changed mine, because nowadays what I always see is that people, they just use the argument of facts, you know. You have to have facts and stuff like that, and I would say yes, you need to have facts to back up your statements. But it's really hard to call a fact a fact. You know what I'm saying? Just because you say it's a fact doesn't mean that it is a fact. And usually the discussion is like this: discuss, and you come to the point where that person says, "Hey, here, this is a fact. You can't disagree with me." It's just used as a tool to just end the discussion, so you can't say anything usually. And just because that is a fact, that you think it's a fact, not necessarily a fact. A statistic of 100 people or 1,000 people is not a fact. It's just a support for your statement, but that's not a fact. So, like, I would just feel like they learn to be that way, and they're not that way. Because if you look at every trans person ever, they usually know exactly what they want to be. They don't just change from tomorrow to from tomorrow, like from yesterday to tomorrow. You know, they know since like early childhood or something that they feel different. Maybe not necessarily early childhood, but they know exactly what they want. And these people who kind of learn to behave that way, it's not for them that way, you know. It's for them kind of like, oh yeah, the thing that I've previously thought I was doesn't perfectly fit the feelings, the criteria, so this another thing that we made up fits it better, so I'm gonna call that way. And then there, of course, feel like if people don't respect that, then they are like that's like the most disgusting act of humankind. First off, if it's something that people couldn't know, because people, like, if you look like a dude and if you look like a female, like, then people will call you as her or he. Like, what do I call it? Like, what if, like, imagine people would just call me there or something. Like, how ridiculous that would be. And I mean, every reasonable person sees it that way. And I think it's kind of crazy to see it otherwise. So, and a lot of the times it's also kind of used just so because with all this political correct nonsense, it's also just like used as a tool by people to manipulate others, and also like just like create like a fuss out of nothing. There you can see like the crazy feminists or something who just know exactly what they're doing. Like they're actually stupid. Like they're actually like really stupid ones who actually think all the things that they say. But like, for example, people like Anita Sarkeesian or something like that, they know exactly what they are doing. I'm very aware of that. I think that might be wrong, might not be entirely true, I don't know. But it's just, that's how I look at this situation. it's honestly kind of degenerate, but it's also kind of like because those people really think that they are that what they think, and like sometimes like there's always like this doubt that I might be like one of those people who like don't accept like from the 50s who don't accept gay people or something like that. But I think it's different because being gay and creating things that don't exist and labeling yourself and want to be respected by it, that's kind of ridiculous, you know? Like, you don't have any evidence, you basically call yourself that, and then you say you are that. Like, what's stopping me from just saying that, like, I am a cat, and now I want to live as a cat, you know, and don't follow my responsibilities. Like, what the fuck? That's something that I label myself. This is why I don't like the God gamer mentality at all. Like, it is true that as more as you play games, the better that you get. But it's the same. Like, it's like with gendering yourself, you kind of gender yourself a God gamer without having any evidence for that claim. Like, it's not just like you do that and suddenly you are the God gamer or you are a God gamer. It's just you label yourself that because you think that's cool. If that would be like if you were truly a God gamer or something like that, you would have to need to play every single genre of game and be a master at it. Then you're a good gamer. But otherwise, you're just cringe, you know. I mean, I don't wanna overuse the word or anything, but it's just like the most cringiest thing I've ever came across. And I see it constantly in speedrunning. It's just so retarded, man. Like, and usually it's kind of like popular people who call it that way. Because they also have like a lot of validation due to the thing that they have achieved. So that kind of leads to them also calling themselves that stupid shit. It's like I always cringe at that. But at the same time, it's also not necessary to take it that seriously. It's just like something I've never liked. Because it just like it's like people saying like that everybody is brainwashed or something. Just like not like that statement just doesn't say anything, you know. It's just like whatever statement. It's like what does that mean? Yeah, everybody has been socially conditioned in some way or another, but just saying that somebody's opinion is invalid because they have been brainwashed is retarded. At the same time, I do understand that some people have a very extreme opinion, and they're obviously stupid in some cases. Also, like just having an extreme opinion doesn't also mean that doesn't necessarily mean that you are stupid or like that you are wrong or something like that. Lol. But what I just meant is just like usually you should just explain to why something is wrong, and if that person, like if you gave all the evidence and then made a logical reasoning towards it, and this person still doesn't get it, and it's obviously that he's wrong, then you can say that there's no point to discussing this with you because you're obviously like not seeing it the way that I see it, and you're obviously like not like really right in the head. At the same time, I also feel like that statement kind of says like, yeah, you don't see it my way, that's why it's wrong. But sometimes things are objectively just stupid. For example, like I'm just going to be honest here. I honestly think that what the Gamble community does, their system is honestly objectively stupid. So it's not even a question of opinion if their system is good or bad. It's just honestly just a bad system, and everybody thinks that that is a good system. Either hasn't thought about it or is stupid. So that are the only two like really things that come into place. But I always have a hard time saying that because I don't want to be people like saying, yeah, you don't see it Like I don't want people to say that just because people don't see it my way, I don't accept it. Just like it's not about how I look at it. It's how objectively, like what's right and wrong. Like people say, yeah, it's my opinion and stuff like that. But honestly, yes, it's your opinion, but that doesn't mean that it can't be false. I have had a lot of false opinions myself, but I've tried to improve them. So that if there's something that is wrong about my opinion, I try to improve them, and I don't see that a lot of other people. Like that's not that true. Like there are a lot of people like that. Even tend to. Sometimes I feel like non-criticism is necessary, so that's something that I always do. I say if something is stupid, if something is retarded, I just say it the way it is. Why would I talk around it? Like, and if you think it isn't, then it isn't. But it's like people always take stuff like that as a person, like attack stuff like that. Like a lot of times I wanna help, but people just feel like I personally attack them, and that kind of annoys me. So this one was pretty good. Got shitted on a lot with RNG, but there were also a lot of stupid mistakes within it. I will do 3 more resets, only